morning. We are now in the last sprint of the Danish EU presidency, and I have to say we are satisfied with what we have achieved so far, with the process so far. As you might remember, we promised that we wanted to deliver a stronger Europe, a more secure Europe, and a more competitive and more green Europe. Therefore, we are, among other things, especially proud on the agreement on the 2040 climate targets. I am also very proud that during our presidency we have made 2 sanction packages and also now 2 agreements on the omnibus packages, simplifying legislation on investment and agriculture. Today we have our General Affairs Council meeting, and we have quite a heavy agenda in front of us today. We will, among other things, be preparing the European Council meeting in December. The leaders there will also have a heavy agenda. They will be discussing the MFF. They will also be discussing the strategic view on enlargement, and they will be discussing the urgent need for financing to Ukraine. Today on our agenda, we will also be discussing the MFF. This is, in fact, the 3rd discussion during our presidency on the MFF. We have laid an ambitious approach towards the MFF discussions, both on the technical level and also on the political level. And now we have the 3rd political discussion in the General Affairs Council. We expect that, especially in modernization of the budget, the new budget architecture will be a key theme of the discussions today at our meeting. And last but not least, we will also be discussing rule of law, a hard fundamental to the EU. We will especially be discussing the situation for specific countries. Thank you.
But I hope that all the potential candidate countries will do the reforms needed.
So, as I said, the need for financing to Ukraine is urgent, and we expect that will be a key topic on the leaders' meeting in December, and therefore also something I expect we will be discussing today. Our aim is to facilitate that discussion, to prepare for that discussion. We need to find solution for Ukraine.
Minister, about the MFF, there was a meeting today, a breakfast meeting of frugal countries, like-minded countries. Do you understand their concern, as Denmark has also been a frugal country last time?
So, as my Prime Minister already had said, Denmark has opted out of the frugal 4 countries. It is not our policy that we should necessarily have a higher budget. It is not our policy that we should have more common debt. However, we are also going into these discussions with an open set of mind, because Europe is in another place today. We need a much stronger Europe. We are in a geopolitical changing time. We need a new budget that are focusing on the challenges we are faced with. We are faced with challenges that we are not able to defend ourselves, that we need to support Ukraine more, and that our competitiveness is lacking behind. And that is why we believe that we have to walk into this discussion with an open set of mind, how to solve our strategic challenges in the European Union.
Do you think that the countries have this open mind?
Excuse me?
Do you think that the countries have this open mind?
I'm only answering on behalf of Denmark. Each country have different views, different positions. Today at the council meeting, I will be chairing the meeting, and we will hear from all member countries, and I'm looking forward to hear concerns from all member countries.
Minister, why are you planning on putting the summit or the meeting in Ukraine, outside of the EU? And also, you are always very keen on attacking Hungary, and now we see that with the frozen Russian assets, it's not only Hungary but Slovakia and Belgium who are against it. What is your take on it?
We are planning to have an extraordinary informal ministerial meeting in Lviv in Ukraine. This was an idea that came up in the margin of the last General Affairs Council amongst ministers. It was suggested. Ukraine also wanted to have such a meeting, and there was a huge support from the member countries in the room, and that's why we have facilitated such a meeting, which will take place in December. The aim for our meeting is to put a strong focus on the need to move on with enlargement, because this is a strategic goal for EU. It is to ensure security and stability in Ukraine. It is also to the benefit of the EU. And with such a meeting, we want to set a focus on the need to move on with enlargement, also to keep the motivation for the Ukrainians to keep reforming, that there is much support from the member countries.
But isn't it against the rules and the treaty that it is held outside of EU?
This is an extraordinary informal minister meeting that we are hosting as the Danish presidency. And as I already said, this was an idea that came up in the margin of the General Affairs Council at a meeting amongst ministers with most of the countries representative, and there was huge support from the member countries to take to Kyiv, and I'm really much looking forward to such a meeting. It will be a strong signal that we are many member countries supporting Ukraine.
The aim is to keep the motivation up. Who or what is preventing Ukraine from joining the EU and moving forward with its accession?
Right now, we are still moving on with the accession process with Ukraine, and the reason why we're moving forward is because the Ukrainians, they are still delivering. They are making reforms. On the technical level, we are not standing still. Ukraine are delivering, and we are many member countries who are supporting Ukraine in delivering reforms. Denmark is one of the member countries who are also supporting. Yes, we're not moving on the formal level because Hungary, as the only member country, is still blocking for opening the first clusters of negotiations, even though that Ukraine do fulfill the benchmarks to open the cluster.
Madam Minister, I'm going today to discuss new regulation of suspension of visa-free regime. So new regulation which was already discussed in Parliament, and as we know today it was on the table.
What was the question?
Visa-free new regulation to suspend visa-free regime.
I have no comments on that.
Okay, and as you told us, leaders in December will discuss enlargement. So what is the position of Denmark with this regard, not only about Ukraine but for other countries which are candidates?
Yes, enlargement is a strategic priority for the Danish presidency, and we've been very clear about that from the very beginning. Right now there is a new momentum for enlargement because this is also about security and stability for EU. We need to move on with enlargement and give the candidate countries, especially Ukraine, Moldova and the countries in the West Balkan, an EU perspective. And that is why we're pushing so much for EU enlargement. Today, we opened the last cluster with Albania. Now all clusters are open. We are very happy about that. At the next General Affairs Council meeting, we expect to have another IGC, this time with Montenegro, closing chapters. And we're also pushing for moving forward Moldova and Ukraine. And in fact, we are moving forward on the technical level.
What do you think about Georgia?
Right now, Georgia has unfortunately chosen not to go with the European path, and day by day they are moving further away from the EU.
Minister, on the MFF, so there's still some controversy around the new structure, the merge of CAP and cohesion. Is it a possibility to put the option to take CAP out of the national plans into the negotiation? If a lot of ministers call for that in today's conference?
Well, we haven't had the discussion yet. Today we will have the first discussion on the heading 1. This is the third discussion we have on the MFF. We had a discussion in July, and then we have a discussion at the General Affairs Council meeting in September, discussing the heading 2 on the competitive fund, and today we are discussing heading 1, comprising of the agriculture funds and also cohesion fund. And I'm looking very much forward to hear what the member states are saying today. I can't conclude on that beforehand. Thank you.